What we're looking at is a skateboard sculpture that I put together. As I traveled, I visited local skate shops throughout the United States and looked for their local decks. The first inception was a much smaller sculpture. When I started putting them together, I really kind of let the skate decks form themselves with the sculpture, which is kind of a technique I've been playing with. It is a very, very solid piece. It's about 145 pounds. It's easily movable. I mounted it on an LCD bracket, so you just move the bracket to wherever you want it to be and the sculpture pops off. What you'll see here is that there's 2x4s in between all these decks, and I used a miter saw, hired a handyman for a day, and he taught me how to countersink these screws. And so you can see how this screw almost hides a lot more within the sculpture. So I learned a lot just about general contracting throughout this piece as well. Welcome to the studio. So this is where I work. This is when I did that sculpture, it was actually mounted to this wall. So here are some of the extra decks that did not make the cut, so to speak. Made the cut for the couch, anyway. I've been getting into sculpting quite a bit more, sculpting with non-traditional items, bottle caps, skateboard decks, you name it. So this is my first experiment with skateboard decks that I've collected over the last couple of years throughout my travels. Going out and finding these decks at the local skate shops as I traveled and taking the time, researching them and then just showing up randomly was really kind of its own part of this whole process that I enjoyed. Soul skating in Los Angeles was one of them that stands out. The Venice Beach piece is really neat. It's almost like laser cut on here. This is a picture of Venice Beach, and that's the original dog town where really modern skateboarding really started. This one up here, it's from a skate shop here in Charlotte, 101NE. This is in Florence, South Carolina. This one really surprised me. I was not expecting to find this cool of a skate shop in Florence, and they had 2 or 3 decks. They had their shit together. A lot of these decks stand out in different ways. Once I got into the piece, it really just took a direction, which is my favorite part of creating art, is when things take a direction that I don't intend. Falling slave to the artistic process is what I was going for here, and this is the end result.